Trick or treat. Did your did your team get treated to a win, or did they get tricked? Uh, this is a post-Halloween edition of Third Saturday in October. You can find us online, thirdsaturdayinoctober.com, on social media at TSIO Pod, on Venmo at TSIO Pod, or on buymeacoffee.com/TSIO Pod if you'd like to support the show. Also, share it with friends, family members. Um, who either like college football or maybe you don't like them and you want them to have to listen to us talk about college football. Share us
Rant
either
and
way.
weep. Hey,
Yes.
hey, Bradley, when you were a kid, Halloween, did you just eat so much candy that you got sick and you were just feeling like, ugh? You ever felt like that when you were a kid, like you ate too much candy?
So
That ever happen?
I'm a big Reese's person,
As you should be. Yeah.
and I'm a big person around, probably because of the Reese's. But um people are like, after two or three of those, I don't feel good. I'm like, I can put down a
Okay.
big old bag of Reese's. I have trained my body like a professional athlete to be able to handle all the sugar, all the chocolate,
Yeah.
all the goodness. Um,
Okay. So what you're describing is a little bit like Auburn fans. So there are some Auburn fans who feel the ick, who feel like, oh, too much, I can't take any more. And then there's some of us that are just so jaded that it's like we've trained our body to just accept this Auburn brutal reality that is a defense only giving up 10 points and then your offense only being able to score three against
yeah,
Kentucky at home in Jordan Hare Stadium. um, Hugh Freeze did get fired, and rightfully so.
yeah,
I've watched Auburn football for many years now, and I've been very frustrated with coaches along the way. And this is the most frustrated I've ever been with a coach.
yeah.
I just can't understand it. I can't wrap my head around it. He's a very rich man. He's going to make a lot of money in his buyout. And I don't hate him. I wish him well, but Hugh Freeze was not the guy, and I was wrong about him. I thought he would be the guy, and he did a
Me
lot of
too.
things right. He recruited well at Auburn. I think he did so many things right. He hired really good people. It's just why, for whatever reason, the one thing he's been known for at Ole Miss and Liberty and even Arkansas State, which brought him to Ole Miss, was being just this offensive mind and being able to work with quarterbacks, and that just never ever even came close to happening at Auburn. I don't know why that is. I don't know if the game passed him. I don't know if he just lost his edge. I can't explain it. And I
Yeah,
think that's one of the things that, gives Auburn fans that too many Reese's feeling. It's
yeah.
just like, what is happening? So now
Well,
we're going to go for another coach, and it can't be any worse. It really, I mean, it can always be worse, I guess, but I don't think it will be. I think we'll get somebody who can come in, right the ship, and hopefully we can retain most of our roster. We have a really good roster. We're going to lose some, I would imagine, but you have to do it at this point. You can't just continue this. You got to have standards. And Auburn, while not perfect, is not supposed to be at the bottom of the SEC, and that's where we are. And that's just a pitiful thing to admit. It's a hard thing. It feels
yeah.
like Tennessee before before these glory days, although this weekend wasn't one of them. But pre-Heupel Tennessee, that's what it feels like.
And
So,
and what's interesting is when Heupel was hired, I will admit I was skeptical because here we have a new AD.
hiring the coach that was at his old school. Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember that. Yeah, and it's not like he killed it at UCF. He did okay, but he wasn't like Scott Frost, like
right,
Scott Frost at UCF, excuse me.
right.
But
Yeah,
yeah, no, I remember that feeling for Tennessee fans. I was like, well,
yeah,
maybe, but yeah, he crushed it. I mean, he's certainly exceeded my expectations, although this weekend was a bummer. So,
yeah. And you and I have talked about Freeze was calling plays, and
yeah,
th
that was part of his his problem. It
th-
wasn't the full part of it, but it was
no,
definitely part of it.
and there is something especially about offensive minded head coaches. The Titans were kind of in the same camp. They fired their head coach who wanted to call plays on offense. And there's something about head coaches that want to call their own offense. Few of them can do it well.
Yeah.
Um,
I think maybe that's the lesson learned if there's other coaches paying attention to this season is let your ego go. Don't if you're in a head coaching position, be the CEO and let your team, let your staff do the other things. Even if you're really good at something, you can have your say in it, but let them do their job. And
yeah,
I think if Hugh Freeze would have done that, I think he might still be coaching, and Auburn's season looks completely different. I really do.
yeah.
Um,
If go find an offensive coordinator that you trust to,
or even one you don't trust. Just find one that is capable and let them do their thing.
yeah,
I think
because
Auburn learned a lesson. I don't think Auburn's going to allow another coach to do that. I think they're going to tell them, no, you cannot do this. Because we got burned by Gus Malzahn and
yeah,
we got burned by, Hugh Freeze now. That's
yeah,
two coaches that we've, still paying buyouts to. So that tells me, if they haven't learned their lesson by now, but I
yeah,
think most coaches are paying attention. They're not going to do that. If they're smart, they're not.
yeah.
Because
I
I
want to
mean, yeah,
say, I want to say that the buyout for this year's head coaches, it's probably eclipsed $200 million for this season because
yeah.
it was at 160 something before Freeze was let go.
Well, and I mean, it's a manageable buyout in terms of LSU or Penn State, but I mean, you're not gonna get a discount most likely on whatever coach you bring in at this level because of the coaching carousel. So even that G5 coach is going to be expensive. Um, it's going to drive all the coaching salaries up. It really is.
Yeah,
So you either pay now or pay later. Are you going to
yeah,
pay in the buyout or are you going to pay now? And
yeah,
if you do it right, pay now. Go ahead and pay now. Make it work. Get the right
yeah,
person.
yeah.
So,
And it all depends on what you can get your boosters to sign on for. Um,
well, what Boosters didn't sign on for was a 10-3 loss to Kentucky at home.
yeah,
And and not even being able to get to an 8-win season with the roster and the NIL that we've spent. It's that was it was too much, and
yeah.
yeah,
For an
so
offensive
we
minded head
have
coach,
really good players. We have excellent wide receivers, and why we can't get a first down is beyond me.
yeah. And
It
and
it doesn't make any sense. So
and it's kind of it for an offensive minded head coach to only score 3 points.
that tells you everything you need to know, man. Just
It
look at the Kentucky score, and that tells you the Hugh Freeze era at Auburn. It does. It really does. It's sad.
Does Sark call
So,
plays at Texas?
uh, I don't even know, but I don't think so. I think Sark's smarter than that, but maybe not. I don't know.
Um,
I'm gonna Google that actually.
it, do because
Does
Lane Kiffin
Steve
Lane Kiffin may
Sarkeesian?
be the best at being a play caller.
Oh, he does. He does call plays for the offense.
Yeah. Um,
Interesting. Okay.
so that makes two former
Yeah.
Nick Saban offensive coordinators who also call plays, which is very
I
interesting.
heard a rumor about Sark. I heard there was potential chatter between Sark's person, his representative, and the Tennessee Titans. And then he pretended like,
Interesting.
oh no, 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 I'm not talking to anybody. But it made me wonder, are we gonna see a Nick Saban LSU to the Dolphins type scenario here? Is
Should be
Steve gonna
interesting.
bolt for
Um,
the NFL?
the I believe the Adams family. Um, I, I, I don't feel like they're Texas fans. Um,
Well, I guess you can not be a Texas fan and be a Sark fan,
yeah,
potentially.
but
So,
actually, yes, I know they were Texas fans because Bud Adams went after Vince Young in the
oh, that's right.
draft.
That's right. Yes, good memory. Yep.
Jeff Fisher did not want Vince Young. This is kind of the end of the Jeff Fisher era. Fisher did not want Vince Young. He didn't. It's like that's not the quarterback I want. And owner Bud Adams said, "This is the quarterback I want. This is who we're drafting."
I mean, after watching that Texas USC championship game, I don't know if you remember that, but Vince Young went off in that game, and I can
Yeah,
understand why NFL coaches would or owners would want him if they're if they're just fresh off watching that championship game because he basically put the team on his back
he
and
did.
won
Yeah.
that game. And everybody took notice. It's kind of like Cam Newton at Auburn. It was that like big time, or it felt that way.
And
So,
Cam Cam transformed his game when
hmm.
he went to the NFL. Um, he because at Auburn he could run a la Michael Vick at Virginia Tech.
He was a maniac. He
And and
was
the
all
and the
over the
problem
place.
is you can't that is hard to replicate in the NFL because
Yeah.
your
Well,
defensive linemen are so fast.
the
Your
level of plays.
your
Yeah,
linebackers are so fast you can't get away from them like you could in college. And
that's true.
I think that's why NFL coaches are like why Jeff Fisher was saying that he's a good college quarterback, but I don't want him running my NFL offense.
Mm.
Um, but that I find that interesting that two former Saban offensive coordinators would would see all that because they both do a lot of things that they learned from Saban, but they did not want to give up calling plays. Um,
Yeah.
and I think because nowadays most coordinators are in the press box.
Mm.
They're up high where they can see how the defense is setting up, and you can't get that as a head coach, that perspective, unless you're Hugh Freeze in a hospital bed, um, head coaching from the press box. Um, but I just find it very interesting. And sometimes as a Tennessee fan, I scratch my head um, with the offensive play calling. Um, I don't know if it was so much the offensive play calling the other night as it was for me watching it in real time, seeing Aguilar try to force some things. Um, it felt like he was trying to do some things that didn't need to be done. He put because he had several interceptions um, on throws that didn't need to be made. Either take the sack, which is where he's gotten in trouble. He's going down, being sacked, and he's like, I gotta get rid of the ball so I don't take a sack. Take take the sack, live another down. You
Yep.
can either punt it away and try to pin him back, or um, if you feel the pressure before it gets to you, just throw it out of bounds, um, and live to play another down. But um, I don't know if he was overhyped for that game because the crowd was in it. That they were showing um they had they're showing decibels on the field, and it was well over 120.
Wow.
Um, there's a video that I saw that they've actually installed a a size a seismograph meter. I don't know the actual term to read how how much that stadium is shaking from noise and everything going on against Georgia. I believe it was against Georgia. It read at 5.97 magnitude earthquake, which is impressive.
Wow.
Um, I don't know what other college football stadiums can do, but um, I hope that Tennessee wins its next couple games, and I hope Vanderbilt wins their next couple games. And that last game of the season, kind of a role reversal. Can Tennessee spoil Vanderbilt's um, playoff hopes? We'll we shall see. Because a lot of years it's Vanderbilt saying, "Can we spoil Tennessee's season?" Um, Most of the time, no. This year, I don't know. What's interesting, both the Tennessee Oklahoma game and the Vanderbilt Texas game came down to onside kicks at the end, and both of them were very close to being recovered by the kicking team, which would have potentially set up game-winning drives. Tennessee had two onside kicks, and Oklahoma's hands team did very well. Texas's hands team did not do well, and Vanderbilt just squandered it. Um, but Vanderbilt, an impressive fourth quarter, 21 points to bring it within three. Um, I know Sark was kind of saying at the end that they have this knack for exciting games towards the end, and this is um, very much like last year's game in Nashville, where it came down to an onside kick at the very end, and Texas held on to win. But um, that was a very exciting game to keep tabs on as well. Did you get to watch that one?
No, I'm a bad person, so no.
I mean, it's a lot of football, and there are other things that we
Yeah.
got to do.
I,
Um,
and when my team loses, like I just get the life force sucked out of me, and then it's like because any if they win, I go back and watch all the other highlights of every game,
yeah,
and but when Auburn loses, I just can't even I can't I'm just so disgusted. I'm like I don't even want to touch football for a few days.
yeah.
So
Well,
yeah,
and
I eventually will is what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to go back and watch highlights of all these games because I love them. I just in the moment I just couldn't. It was too much. So
well, one that you need to go back and watch is the end of that Mississippi State Arkansas game because Arkansas was leading for um what feels like most of the game. State scored first, but then Arkansas scored and was ahead the
yeah,
rest of the way.
I'm going to take a wild guess that Mississippi State pulling that one out. Of course, congrats to Levy and Hail State and all that, but I'm going to assume that means Petrino's probably not getting that job.
That that was that was a bad meltdown at the end, and I want I did not want State to lose to an interim head coach because you and I are both fans of Levy and what he's trying to do at Mississippi State. Um, State's a hard place to put something together. Um, but I was very glad for that ending. For State's sake. Arkansas, once you fire your coach, it's like I don't know, you've kind of given up on the rest of the season. Um, I feel like I know when Tennessee fired its coaches, it's kind of like, well, all right, we're looking towards next year. Um, which by the way, if you're a Tennessee fan and you're upset, I encourage you to remember we're overachieving for what we expected to be in the playoff hunt at the end of October, first into the first game of November. Um, if you told me we'd be doing that with a brand new quarterback who just showed up on campus, I'm not sure I would have believed you. Um,
It's awesome. I love it.
so even in a loss, uh, I'm still like, hey, it's been awesome. I think I think Tennessee can still win out, get to a good bowl game, um, go all Shane Beamer. Hey, I'd rather go to a nice destination and have a nice bowl experience than go to Ohio State in the bitter cold, get trampled early in bowl season and have to go home and just watch the rest of it from home. He's got a point.
He's always got a point.
Um, his South Carolina Gamecocks did fall to Ole Miss 30-14. Um, South Carolina, it's a rough year. That only leaves one game that we hadn't talked about, and I I hope my father-in-law's heart is in uh good condition, good health, because his Georgia Bulldogs have been in heart attack inducing games all season, um, trailing most of the game until pretty much the last drive when they finally took the lead, beating Florida 24-20. Um, I mean, a win's a win. They're they're 7-1 and 5-1 in the SEC, which is up there with the best of them. Just behind A&M, who had a bye week this week. Um, I don't know. I don't know what to say other than a win's a win. Um, but there were some close matchups. So, um, the only double digit win was by Old Miss this week
Huh.
because the point spread on these games were 4 points, 16 points, 3 points, 6 points, 3 points, 7 points.
Hmm.
Ve- It was not a pretty weekend of football, but it was a close weekend of football. Um, so we'll see what happens this next weekend. Let's preview these games. Georgia at Mississippi State. Um, Mississippi State, it was fun while it lasted.
Yeah.
Ole Miss hosts the Citadel. That's got to be homecoming.
That's got to be a nice potential breath of fresh air for Ole Miss after the gauntlet they've gone through.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. They've gone through quite the gauntlet. A&M goes to Missouri.
ooh,
That
that ought to be a fun one.
um, I may be pulling for the Tigers there.
Yeah, don't count out Missouri. Is that game's at Missouri?
It's at Missouri.
Hey, we might witness another undefeated team go down. So
Yeah. Um, wouldn't hate it. Uh, Auburn goes to Vanderbilt.
I will be at that game, yo. I'll be in Nashville, Tennessee, the home of Bradley Minigan. And hopefully, Bradley, I get to hang out with you, Chris Murphy, a little bit. Meeting my buddy Mike Duffy, a friend from high school, fellow Auburn fan. And we're going to enjoy DJ Durkin as the interim head coach,
Yes.
taking on Coach Lee and the Vanderbilt Commodores who just lost to Texas. So we are hoping to see a united, feisty Auburn team wanting to make a name for themselves, although it may not play out like we hoped. We're still going to Nashville that weekend, and I'm looking forward to it. So,
Awesome. Yeah,
yep,
no, I can't wait for you to get up here. It's
yep.
going to be a fun weekend. Win, lose, or draw, even though we don't have draws
Well,
because we
I'm
play
not.
real sports.
My first thought is Auburn probably doesn't win, but with Hugh Freeze gone, maybe that sparks the team. I don't know. Vanderbilt just came off the loss of Texas. That tells me they're probably going to be on fire, ready to just stomp a new one into Auburn. Um, but Auburn might just show up and be like, you know what? We are ready to just really demonstrate what we're all about. Um, wouldn't that be something? I don't know. I don't know what to expect, but I'm going to have fun either way. So,
Yeah, play upset.
yeah.
I I don't
And
mind
then, and
being
then yeah, my hope is, after that Auburn victory, if it happens, go and celebrate, and watch a little LSU Alabama after the fact. So
yeah. Another
I'm picking Bama in this one, by the way.
yeah, especially
Yeah,
at home. Uh,
yeah, yeah.
mm,
I'm picking Bama.
LSU in a tough spot where their governor said LSU's AD is not picking the next head football coach.
I don't want to get on a tangent about that, but did that really need to play out that way? It just feels like things are a little messy in LSU. That doesn't mean they're not going to get a top coach. But
In
man, what a weird scenario. That's
yeah,
that's just like
in game
let's
day
let,
talked
let's all
about
grow up, people.
yeah,
Like I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
game day was talking about do you leave a good situation to go to an LSU and or or a Penn State or um
I
Florida.
think I think if you're winning where you are, man, it's got to be just insane money. Otherwise, I don't think you do it. I think you leverage the desire of you leaving, or the desire for you to come to another school to get more
Yeah,
money at the school you're at, and that's what Indiana did. That's what we saw with Nebraska with Matt Rule. I think those coaches are smart to stay where they're at because the
yeah,
grass isn't always greener. We know that. And Ole Miss, if you're happy at Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin, you better not leave. You better because they will make a statue of you outside of Ole Miss if you stay there.
yeah,
You keep winning like you're doing, even if you don't win national championships, you are the guy. You're the
yeah.
hero. So do you really want to mess that up? Like you've proven you can win it in Oxford. So man,
It
I don't
and
know, man. I love Florida. I love LSU. I mean, I don't, but I do.
yeah,
I'm pretty sure those schools will get really good coaches. But
yeah.
if
Well,
if I'm making the money that Lane Kiffin makes, do I leave? I think you just say, hey, bump me up a bit, and I'll just stay.
yeah,
That's probably what I'm doing. But who knows?
yeah. There's
I don't know that Florida's really that different anymore, or LSU for that matter.
yeah,
Like I think you can win at any P4 level. Look at Indiana. They're winning.
right.
They're not in an abundant area, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
they've always been the joke of the Big Ten or part of it in terms of football.
yeah.
So I don't know. Like what if North Carolina all of a sudden in the next year or two, with Bill Belichick just turns into a monster? They've been terrible this year, but you can win. You can win at North Carolina. You can win at these other schools now. So I don't know. I think
Hey, you
yeah,
can win
and
at Duke.
you can win at Duke. Duke beat Clemson for crying out loud. Like man, yeah, you should be knocking on Manny Diaz's door, man.
Yeah.
He's a good coach.
So
I thought that even when he was the defensive coordinator for Mississippi State years ago.
yeah,
Like I thought, dude, that guy, he's gonna
he
end
can
up
coach.
he's gonna end up doing well. And he didn't have the best run at Miami, but I love to see him bounce back at Duke. I'm happy for him. So
Yeah. So we've talked about LSU being a top job, and then Nick Saban was saying something on College Game Day that these coaches have to look at how much the school is aligned. And this is something Tennessee does have. Tennessee's got a president in Randy Boyd, a chancellor in Plowman, an athletic director in White, and a head coach in Heupel who are all aligned.
Yeah.
They they know what the expectations are. They're clear about it. They talk to each other. They support each other. LSU and Florida don't have that right now.
Yeah, I would say they definitely don't have that. And
And
and yeah,
Tennessee
you're
did not
walking
have
into
that.
that. Yeah.
Tennessee did not have that for over a decade. Um, because you had an assistant athletic director who was really pushing for Phil Fulmer to be fired. Um, who later on down the road left and then came back as athletic director and made several bad hires, who was then shown the door, um, only for Phil Fulmer to come in as kind of an interim athletic director, who unfortunately hired Jeremy Pruitt. And but Fulmer was smart enough to know, hey, I'm not going to be here through the next head coach's tenure. I'm going to step down. And that's when things finally got aligned. Tennessee went and took the time to find their athletic director, who has done a phenomenal job
Yes.
with the athletic department. Um,
Yeah, baseball just poached a high-end coach from Florida. So,
yeah. I was very intrigued to see that. But they did it. And uh, so are schools like LSU in Florida with longer runways to find their next head coach, are they going to try to figure out how to get alignment in their administration, or because that's what's going on in something that um I think Tennessee has likely done is with Danny White as AD, Josh Heupel as head coach, specifically for Florida, gone to the donors and said, "Hey, we need you to trust us," because I bet the donors weren't too happy with Heupel and Danny White telling the Iamaliavas, "Hey, we're not going to play this game," because
which was the right call, though. I
was the
mean,
right call. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, I've seen some people posting, we could have we should have just paid Nico the money. No.
No,
What
no, no, no.
you have seen that Nico is not the quarterback that we all thought he was. And by the way, I've talked to um a I've got a friend whose son is going through the recruiting process. His son can go to camps and outperform some of these 4 and 5 star quarterbacks. But the way you get stars is to pay these recruiting services to like you can buy into their services where they'll help get your tape to high profile coaches, high profile programs. And if you don't play that game, you're not getting the stars. So you're going to be, your ceiling's going to be probably a 3 star, um, unless you get in there and you try to work it. But that's where you have these Diego Pavias
Pop
go
up.
to a
Yeah.
smaller school, prove themselves, a Joey Aguilar go to a smaller school, prove themselves, and kind of work their way up the ranks of
Dude,
college football.
100%. 100%.
Um,
Yep.
all this on tangents, but listening to those guys on College Game Day talk about what what needs to go in to lure a coach away like a Lane Kiffin from Ole Miss, an SEC school who's doing well. What would it take to lure him away? It's likely not an LSU or a Florida. And if it sounds like if Lane's calling Saban to say, "Hey, what should I do?" Saban's saying, "Look, I had a lot of success at LSU, but it's not the same LSU that where I was coaching. Um, you're better off staying where you are." Um, but it's going to be interesting to see what some of these programs do and how they control their boosters. Um, because I think I believe that is what got Tennessee in trouble with hiring some of their coaches. Um, that may be what has happened at Auburn. Um, and I think that's what's happening at LSU and Florida. Boosters are great, but they don't know football as well as they think they do.
Nope.
Um, and the last game that's coming up next weekend, Florida at Kentucky. I find it interesting that Florida is a 3.5 point favorite. Kentucky has played Florida well in the last few years. Um, I'm wondering if Stoops can get it together for uh, a night game at Kroger Field. Man, I hate night games at Kroger Field. They're just
You, you might have mentioned that once or twice on this
man.
podcast. So
Um, but oh, what a week. Um,
yeah, uh, for those of you that won, congrats. For those of you that didn't win and had a rough weekend, we feel your pain. So
good news.
yes,
Basketball season is starting.
yeah, and man, I'm not looking forward to playing Tennessee. I'm glad there is a month plus of what 2 months, however long it is, of non-con games. Because man, yeah,
I believe Auburn travels to Tennessee at the end of January, if I
yeah,
remember
I'm
correctly.
glad it's not till then, and I'm totally okay with that. And Auburn did play an exhibition game against Memphis the other day in Atlanta, and they were awesome. It was really encouraging as an Auburn basketball fan to see that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give them their props and really am looking forward to this season. I don't expect last year's results, meaning like a Final Four or even an SEC championship for that matter, but I do expect Auburn will surprise some teams. I think they have a good squad. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I think there's a good handoff, well played by Bruce
Yeah, they
Pearl.
they lost in overtime to Oklahoma State in their first exhibition game, but it was like really close. It might have been by about a bucket. Like it was really close. And
Yeah.
and they just couldn't get their shots to hit for nothing. And I remember just being like, "Oh man, this might be a rough year." But then the game against Memphis, they just were on fire. And it was like, "Okay, this is fun. Like this is what I want to watch." So yeah, I'm absolutely looking forward to basketball season. Didn't mean to go on a tangent there, but
No, no, no.
it is gonna be good. So
Yeah, T Tennessee's last exhibition game was against Duke. Uh,
that's a
it
tough team, and
it
they've
was a
got the
tough team,
Boozer twins playing with them. So yeah,
and it was at Tennessee, but that didn't help a whole lot. Um,
Mm.
it we'll we'll see. I think Tennessee's got a good team. I
Oh
think
yeah, I know
I
they do. Yeah,
think
this is preseason. This don't count. So
um I think the team has to kind of figure out their rotation uh and how that's going to work out. I did see somebody complaining about Tennessee's schedule. He played Mercer, Northern Kentucky, North Florida, Rice, Tennessee State, Rutgers. It's like, really? Well, Then you play number 2 Houston at Syracuse, number 17 Illinois, number 11 Louisville. Um, you got a couple gimme games there at the end of December, and then you've got let's there are games in between these, but let's just talk ranked SEC teams. At Arkansas, at Florida, Florida number 3, versus number 9 Kentucky, at number 15 Alabama, versus number 20 Auburn at home, at number 9 Kentucky again. Don't you love playing Kentucky twice a year? Um, and then again at towards the end of the year, home against Alabama. I mean, that's over half the schedule. Or
Gonna be
at
gonna
half the
be
schedule.
gonna be an uphill climb, but well worth a watch. So
Yeah. Um, Tennessee, by the way, is a preseason number 18. Um,
eight, so top 20.
top 20. Yeah.
Oh yeah. You know what? That's a good spot.
It's a good spot. I don't
Yeah. Not overrated, recognized, not overrated. Plenty of time to move up. So
yeah.
yeah.
I love my teams just being in the top 25. Just be
Yeah.
ranked.
Yeah.
And finish the season ranked. And I will be a happy camper.
I don't I don't anticipate that being trouble for your Tennessee Vols in
Yeah.
basketball. I don't. So
Um, I feel pretty good about the basketball season. I feel really good about the baseball season.
yeah,
Um,
rightfully so.
and I can't say this enough. The football team has been playing with house money this
Mm.
year. Um,
Yeah.
whether whether we end the season with only 3 losses or we
Which
lose
is
another
still
one
amazing, by the way. And yeah, people are saying, "Oh, Tennessee's not going to make the playoffs." We don't know that. Like they may still make it. So I don't know.
back in April, we were like, well, crap, I don't know what's going to happen this season.
Yeah.
We may have to start either a redshirt freshman, which I think he would have been done fine this year,
Well,
or a
by
true
this,
freshman.
especially by this part of the season, he would have likely figured it
Yeah,
out. But it's
yeah,
nice to have Aguilar. I think
yeah,
that's good that your freshman gets a little bit more breathing room and chance to develop and then be the guy, in
yeah.
the future. So
We're going to be ready to rock and roll next
yeah,
season.
I think that's true. So
Um, so yeah,
yeah,
the
and Auburn
future's
plays
bright.
Auburn plays Tennessee next year. I'm not really looking forward to that, but that's happening.
Well,
So
like you said, get the right coach. You've got a decent roster.
yeah,
Um,
that's
and
what Auburn fans have to hope on right now, and I believe it will.
yeah,
I think people are so frustrated. They're so sick of the garbage. Like Auburn knows they've got to get this one right. So
yeah.
man, they better. It's-
Otherwise, it is a long, dark decade.
Whew, man, I really don't want to spend another decade of losing. I just don't. But
I guess Tennessee was about 15, 16 years.
man, see that's I hear that and I just groan. I'm like, I can't let my emotions even consider that because it's just too much. So
Hey, there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
yeah, I hope so.
I'm not saying it's the end of the tunnel. I'm not saying it's a freight train coming at you, but there is a light.
Yeah, it might be.
And
It could be the freight train.
one way or
So
another,
I would
you will
not have
be
thought Hugh Freeze would have been the freight train, but he
right.
man, brutal.
This game is changing fast.
It is.
Um, hey, what doesn't change fast is where you can find us. Third Saturday in
Mhm.
October.com, on social media at TSIO Pod, on Venmo at TSIO Pod if you want to support the show, or buymeacoffee.com/TSIO Pod. You can find us all those places. You can also email us podcast at Third Saturday in October.com. It's a mouthful, I know. You can find all those links on our website. Um, Tennessee's got a bye week. Auburn goes to Vanderbilt.
Yep.
Uh,
I will be
and
at that game, so should be fun.
uh, there's still quite a bit of football left to go. Um, we're a month away from the SEC championship and finding out where teams are going bowling, should they be so lucky. Even after a loss, roll Vols.
And War Eagle, and let's hire the new coach, the right coach at the end of the season. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing DJ Durkin as the interim of Auburn as they play Vanderbilt this weekend. So good times.
Tailgate, pancake, living room, pre-game, burgers, ribs, chicken wings, chip and dip.